This righteous fear, man, it's different, man. It's it's provocative, man. I mean, I don't even know what that means. It gets the people going.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa.
Chris Tucker just got dragged back into the spotlight in the worst way after Katt Williams called him out on his viral Club Shay Shay appearance, alleging that Chris traveled to Jeffrey Epstein's island where hundreds of girls, many of whom were underage, were
Salute, and welcome to class, guys. Well, we got a good one today. Welcome to the Nosy Nigga Network. You know what we do over here. We learn how not to be a dummy from some well-paid dummies. And guys, I don't know about y'all, but Chris Tucker, he did that movie Friday, and then he changed, man. And for some odd reason, we trying to figure out what made him change. Boy ain't been the same since that plane ride, if you ask me. So let's get into this, man. Let's see what they talking about.
called him out on his viral Club Shay Shay appearance, alleging that Chris traveled to Jeffrey Epstein's island where hundreds of girls, many of whom were underage, were trafficked and essayed by Epstein and his powerful friends. On January 3rd and 4th, hundreds of pages of unsealed court documents were released to the public, identifying Epstein's associates. The papers, which still contain some redacted parts, come from different sources: court filings, emails, police reports, government documents, and depositions of key figures tied to Epstein's case. These figures include former employees of Jeffrey Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, police officers, alleged victims, and supposed clients who traveled to Epstein's island. Among the nearly 200 names mentioned in unsealed papers, there are many actors, singers, comedians, politicians, prominent lawyers, and other high-profile figures. And yes, Chris Tucker's name popped up too. And according to Katt Williams, the Chris Tucker who allegedly traveled to Epstein's island is not the same person he was when he originally portrayed Smokey in the 1995 cult classic Friday. Katt suggested that Chris is one of the many comedians who lost his soul to Hollywood, and now more details are surfacing about Chris's bizarre connection to Jeffrey Epstein. So what really happened to Chris Tucker? How did he go from a beloved funny man to an alleged Epstein client? Let's break it down.
Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
Katt Williams really dropped a megaton bomb on the Club Shay Shay podcast, and his interview was still sending shockwaves through the entertainment world. Katt spilled some serious tea about fellow comedians Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, and Ricky Smiley. But it was Chris Tucker who was hit the hardest, because Katt directly called him out over his connection to the late SA offender Jeffrey Epstein. Katt's interview with Shannon Sharpe came out on January 3rd. The same day, hundreds of pages of unsealed documents from a lawsuit connected to Epstein were publicly released. The documents were unsealed as part of a defamation lawsuit filed against Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre against Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. In June 2022, Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And as for Epstein, he was arrested in July 2019 on federal charges of sex trafficking. However, he died in his jail cell on August 10, 2019. The medical examiner ruled that Epstein took his own life by hanging. However, the ruling has been disputed by many. Many believe that Epstein was silenced by his powerful associates, a theory that gained even more momentum after it was revealed that both Epstein and Maxwell had links to Israeli intelligence and may have blackmailed U.S. politicians with footage of crimes committed on Epstein's private island, Little St. James. But how did Chris Tucker get involved in this mess? Was he really one of the people who traveled to Epstein's island to commit crimes? To give you some context, back in 2009, long before Epstein's crimes were exposed, a VH1 show about famous private planes mentioned Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, and Bill Clinton flying for a trip to Africa on Epstein's jet. later nicknamed the Lolita Express.
A Boeing 727 with, of course, an in-flight trading room. When Bill Clinton organized a week-long tour of Africa in 2002, Jeff gave him a ride in his personal 727 and took actors Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker along for the trip.
Nah, I find that suspicious now, guys, because they also said that they found the man with a picture of Clinton in a dress. So for him to be flying around with Clinton is suspicious. And then let's go back to that Christmas comment. Like, don't call me Christmas. Don't, what the fuck is that? Christmas?
Now, as you might know, both Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton have faced allegations of SA and inappropriate conduct. In October 2017, actor Anthony Rapp alleged that Kevin Spacey made advances towards him when Rapp was 14 and Spacey was 26. After Rapp filed an SA lawsuit against Spacey in September 2020, 15 other individuals came forward alleging similar incidents. As for Bill Clinton, he's been publicly accused of SA by several women. On top of that, both he and his wife Hillary were at the center of a conspiracy theory connecting them to a kidnapping case that took place after the 2010 Haiti earthquake. In February 2010, 10 Americans were arrested in Haiti while trying to take 33 Haitian children out of the country. They were later charged with kidnapping and criminal association. Now, the reason the Clintons were connected to this case is because on February 5th, 2010, Bill Clinton, who was appointed by the United Nations as relief coordinator for the Haiti earthquake, personally appealed for an end to the kidnapping case. Clinton argued it was necessary to resolve the case quickly to ease tension between Haiti and the United States in the relief effort. After this, 8 of the 10 of those arrested for kidnapping were released by a Haitian judge and immediately flown back to Miami on a U.S. Air Force transport plane. Now, circling back to Chris Tucker, when they asked him in 2021 about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, he admitted he traveled on Epstein's plane with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey for a humanitarian trip to Africa. However, he claimed he didn't know at the time who Epstein was or anything about his criminal activities.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and yeah, I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so. Yeah.
And then they asked Chris if he ever flew to Epstein's private island, which he strongly denied and laughed off the question.
But tell me this, Chris. He was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was it Lolita Express?
Oh, yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh, yes.
Wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing is.
However, a lot of people felt there was something fishy about this. Even then, because how does Chris Tucker find himself on a private jet with the likes of Epstein and Bill Clinton?
So Acorn is a financial tech company. So I bought everyone's gifts today.
What exactly does he have in common with them? Plus, the fact that Chris laughed so hard at the question about visiting Epstein's island is strange, to say the least. At the time of this interview, Epstein had already been found guilty, so why did Chris think it was appropriate to laugh about this question? So, according to Page 6, that humanitarian trip took place in 2002, and Chris, Bill Clinton, and Kevin Spacey spent a week touring AIDS project sites in South Africa on Epstein's plane for the Clinton Foundation. But see, another person who was on the plane with them was Shantae Davies, an air hostess who worked on Epstein's plane and who later appeared in the TV documentary Surviving Jeffrey Epstein, recounting a horrifying incident when she was SA'd by Epstein within days of being hired. Later on, Davies talked to The Sun about flying with Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, and Kevin Spacey on that humanitarian trip to Africa, and The Sun obtained photos of Clinton with Shantae, as well as photos of Chris, all taken during the trip.
And that right there, Chris ain't been the same since that picture right there, boy. That was the picture. He ain't been the same since.
Shantae, as well as
Look at him. Look at him. Boy was in Debo pigeon coop. He's sweating like bullets.
photos of Chris, all taken during the trip. Shantae told The Sun, "It's clear that Epstein was using this private jet and his wealth to get close to rich and powerful people. Looking back at these images now, it raises a lot of questions about why Bill Clinton was using the plane and what perhaps Jeffrey may have been trying to accomplish by having him around." But that's not all. A photo recently resurfaced of Chris Tucker and Epstein's ex-housekeeper, Jojo Fontanilla. And here is Jojo posing with Bill Clinton and Epstein's ex-housekeeper. To be clear, Chris Tucker hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing. However, his connection with the likes of Epstein, Bill Clinton, and Kevin Spacey definitely raises concerns about how all of these celebs were drawn into Epstein's circle at the same time that he was committing horrific crimes against young girls and women. Well, according to Katt Williams, the Chris Tucker we knew back in the 90s is not with us anymore, and the Chris Tucker who flew on Epstein's plane is a completely different person, a man who apparently sold his soul to the dark side. During his appearance on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, Katt said Smokey from Friday is no longer with us, and the Chris Tucker that's with us now is the Epstein Island Chris Tucker.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday? Smokey was all in Smokey. There ain't no Friday without Smokey.
We all agree to that, and there's no next Friday without Friday.
Katt also brought up Chris's close friendship with Michael Jackson, seemingly suggesting there was something strange about their relationship.
Chris was allowed to make the decision. At the time that this is happening, Katt Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed.
Right.
Snoop's known for smoking weed, but none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
Now, as for fans, they seem to be divided on this whole topic of Chris Tucker and Jeffrey Epstein. While some believe Chris was scared to speak up about what he witnessed while hanging out with Epstein, others are giving him the side eye and speculating he didn't just witness something horrific, but he took part in it too. One fan said, "Chris Tucker is known to be a really good, God-fearing person, and he probably witnessed something on that island that shook him to his core, and he decided right then and there he was done with Hollywood." However, another fan pointed out that Michael Jackson's name was also mentioned in the newly released Epstein documents and wrote, "There had to be boys there too. I can't think of any other reason Michael Jackson would have shown up." And now it has me looking at Chris Tucker funny because they were such great friends. Chris's marriage ended abruptly, and we've never seen him in a serious relationship with a woman since. Makes you wonder about his real proclivities. But what are your thoughts on Katt Williams calling out Chris Tucker over his Epstein connection?
Man, yo, shit crazy. Shit getting spooky. Shit getting crazy out here. And it's all stemmed from Puff Daddy and Will Smith, guys. Remember that, guys. It's nasty work out here. So let's take this to the comment section. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this. If y'all was wondering why we ain't see another movie, another Friday with Chris Tucker in it, and what happened to Chris Tucker, guys, did y'all know he went to the island, bro? And why that man sit up there and lie like he ain't go to the island? Let's take this to the comment section. Y'all wrap up, strap up, drink responsibly. I'll see y'all later.